And what about you? Because your life, the way your coping mechanism has been fantastic. The group of ladies that you have got together with to celebrate life and the moment is by plunging yourself in the freezing cold sea. Now that in itself, that's a very simplistic way to explain what it is that you do.
That pretty much sums it up. Yeah, that's a good description.
But
yeah.
Why? What have you found?
Yeah, and it's only in the last few years, I think, when you're younger, not when you're younger, well, I was younger, when you have young kids, you very much, as a mother, you don't really think about yourself. It's just the way we're programmed. And so it was really when the twins were about 2, up until that, probably a couple of years there, where I don't really remember anything. It was just all nappies and bottles. And at a certain stage, you do start thinking of yourself a bit more. And our house being such a public space with nurses, I naturally gravitated towards looking for solace, maybe outside the home. Yeah. And it drew me to the Cove, Ladies' Cove in Greystones, where I swim, and my friends. And it happened kind of by accident. My friend Michelle, her husband Galen and herself used to swim together a lot. They were all year sea swimmers, and Galen a few years ago was in a bicycle accident on the motorway and ended up paraplegic, and it's quite high up. It's like T4, so he only has a third of his lung capacity. And I was invited down to the marina in Greystones in 2014 to watch this guy get carried into the sea, and he swam the whole way around the headland just using his arms, and it was awesome. And we all got in as a form of solidarity. It was cold, it was September, and I got in, and it was a real adrenaline rush. But we were watching his wife Michelle stand on the sidelines, and they had a new young baby, and she just looked like really young and sad. And myself and another friend, Afric, took one look at her, and that kind of wordless thing that old friends do, go, oh no, we're going to have to step in here and get her back in the water. And the following week we all congregated at Ladies' Cove with our collective toddlers and babies and dogs, and waded into the water.
And you did it. And so what does it give you, like, as that group of women together? Because I know you also once a month you do a full moon naked swim as well. I mean, but as it sounds amazing. What does it give you as you women all together, that moment, that time to yourself?
Yeah, there's a collective sharing of a talk before and after the swim. But as one of my friends says, you don't always like the person who goes into the water, but you always like the person who comes back out. And I think that really sums it up. It's a physiological effect. It's a mental hurdle that you get over. Your brain, especially in winter, this time of year, everybody's down there. It's easy. It's nice and warm. But in winter, when it's cold, your brain is telling you, don't do this. So you're bypassing your brain.
My brain would always win. So that's the thing.
Well, your brain doesn't win, though. You see, it's like this accomplishment, and so for the rest of the day, you kind of think, yeah, I did that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. And again, it's called the Tragic Wives Club.
Only as a joke. We don't really call ourselves that. That was in response to that thing that really kind people do. They say, how are things? And myself and Michelle would sort of, how do you answer that question? How are things? It's like, what answer do you want? I have a list here. Do you really want to know? And people saying, oh, you're so brave, you're great. And one day I turned to Michelle at the beach and said, Jesus, Michelle, we're like the Tragic Wives Swimming Club. And she immediately said, well, what is Afric doing here? Our other friend, because her husband is horribly healthy. And I said, you've no business being in a Tragic Wives Club. And so we call ourselves that joke.
But the reason that she was loud?
Well, this was the wheelchair guy humour. Their joke was, Galen and my husband Simon said, well, at least we'll never be bald like Phil. And the two of them cracked up, and they thought that was so
she's
funny.
Allowed in.
She's allowed in because her husband's bald. Very handsome.
Will you please give Simon our very best wishes?
Yeah, please do.
Good luck with his new book, because I know he's concentrating on his book at the moment. And this is yours, absolutely inspirational. And I found my tribe. And thank you
very much.
Thank you.
Lovely to see you.